Well, let us reset now on the tragic death of Michael Jackson. Vigils continue around the world. So much outpouring of love for the man who entertained so many for so long. The autopsy was completed yesterday. The coroner's office says no obvious physical ailments led to his death, so it'll be the toxicology reports. It may take a month before they have a official cause of death, but we are piecing together some clues. ABC News has learned the LAPD was informed that Jackson received a shot of the powerful painkiller Demerol before 911 was called, and that he was addicted to OxyContin. At his home with him at the time of the collapse was his physician, Dr. Conrad Murray, a man who has been treating the elderly down in Houston but had been hired to take care of Michael throughout his impending comeback tour. He could not resuscitate him. And then, for some reason, he left the scene. The police impounded the doctor's car for evidence. They said they would be interviewing him, but he has a lawyer. He's not being suspected of any foul play. But Michael Jackson's family is very suspicious of this doctor because he wasn't there to sign the death certificate, and he hasn't been able to answer their questions about his final hours. And all of these concerns were voiced by Reverend Jesse Jackson, a close friend of the family who spent time with them yesterday. And he voiced their concerns to me yesterday.
His absence raises questions of substance that will not go away until they're answered.
So they're suspicious of this doctor?
They have real reason to be. Because ordinarily the doctor will say, here's what happened in the last hours of your child's life, and I was there. I gave him some medicine, and here's what it was. Ought to answer all questions, but he can't answer your questions. He cannot answer their questions. He has left the scene.
Another close friend of Michael Jackson was a spiritualist, Deepak Chopra, who joins us this morning. Thanks for being here. My condolences to you, the loss of your friend. You are a licensed physician, and I understand Michael asked you for prescription drugs.
After the trial in 2005, he asked me to prescribe him OxyContin. And that's when I became suspicious that something was going on, that he was dependent. And then I discovered that he was getting these prescriptions from not one, but many physicians. Yeah, and you know, I confronted him with that, and he tried to avoid that. And every time I did confront him with that, he would kind of disappear from my life. He would be unavailable. Then he'd call me about 2-3 weeks later and saying he was sorry, etc., that he wasn't really addicted. He had a lot of pain, and he needed this kind of medication. Michael was addicted, but he had enabling doctors who perpetuated his addiction and actually started it.
All right. Tell me about this piece of music. I think we can listen to a little bit of this. This may be one of the last recordings he ever made. Let's listen to just a snippet. It's, I guess, devoted to conservation, the earth. Tell me about this project and why you were involved.
Well, Michael called me a while ago and he said he wanted to do something for the environment, and he had written a piece of music, and he arranged for me to get this piece of music. So it is in fact the last piece he did, and we were going to write the words for it, and we were talking about how to reframe our perspective of what the environment is. We were saying that the trees are our lungs, the air is our breath, the rivers and waters are our circulation, the earth is our body. Right. We have a personal body, a universal body, and they're both ours. He was very moved by that kind of sentiment.
He had such a big heart, obviously, his philanthropic work with We Are the World and all of that, and now he's turning his attention to the earth.
Yeah, I was on his board of Heal the World Foundation. He had a big heart. He couldn't understand why people called him weird. He thought that the world was weird, where we had all this stuff going on, war and terrorism and global warming and genocide and hungry children.
I have to ask, too, I understand that you introduced Michael to Grace, the nanny of the children now, and probably one of the strongest relationships they have in their lives. Can you explain that relationship?
Grace worked as a volunteer for me when she was a teenager, and I did introduce Grace to her. to Michael, and she became the nanny.
Do you think she
Right.
has interest in taking custody of those children?
Not legally. I mean, she's not entitled legally, but she is like a mother figure to them. Yeah, she's the closest to the kids.
Yeah. And just in a final 15 seconds, how will you remember Michael? How will you remember your friend?
As innocent and pure and loving and compassionate and misunderstood.
Deepak Chopra, we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
again. Good to see you, sir. Okay.